Welcome to Freedom Cast, where your hosts, Jordan and Miranda, show you how to get just a little bit more out of life. Are you ready to leave normal behind?
Welcome to our Black Friday episode of Freedom Cast. This is technically our Thanksgiving episode, but you're going to be hearing it, listening to it for the first time on Black Friday, most likely.
Yes, so I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving. Hopefully right now you're in a food coma and recovering, or you're out beating people while you're shopping for clothes.
Yep.
Who knows? It could be either one. So.
Man, Black Friday is kind of a crazy day, isn't it?
It is.
Be safe out there, friends. Please don't be too aggressive. Get that TV if you really want that TV. But be careful. Man, some people can be violent.
Yeah, be careful. But we just hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving, and we are glad that you are listening to us.
We are very grateful. In this episode, we're going to be talking about how to practice gratitude during the holidays. During this holiday season and any holiday season in general, it can be hard to be thankful. Even though we celebrate an entire holiday on Thanksgiving, I think we can think those things and we can have those thoughts, but it's kind of hard to put it into practice. So we're going to be talking a little bit more about being thankful and about gratitude in general. So we think you're really going to like this episode. We are so excited to share it with you.
And it's important to always be practicing gratitude, not just during Thanksgiving or during Christmas. Just make sure that it's something that you try to implement in your life year-round, because it's a wonderful thing and we focus on it a lot during this time of year, but it's something that you should always be focused on.
All right, so what is gratitude, Miranda?
Gratitude is just being thankful and grateful for what you have, for the place where you are, just not thinking about that next thing that you want or you need, but just being thankful for what you do have. It's just an emotion that just emits joy, I think.
Yeah, I think that's great.
Yeah, so why do you think it's a good idea to be thankful and to practice gratitude?
I think if we're not continually and consistently practicing gratitude, we can get too much in our own heads. And I know that's something I struggle with. And and we all struggle with being selfish to a certain extent because we're human. Our first instinct is to protect ourselves and to save ourselves. For the most part, that's kind of how we do things. We are just designed, that fight or flight mode, just to protect ourselves and make sure that we're okay. And I think it's important just to get out of ourselves in that way and just to be thankful for other people, to be thankful for what we have, and just to celebrate that.
It's a beautiful thing because it can be really hard to focus on the positives and what you do have when everywhere around you, ads and everything are telling you, like, you want this, you need this, you're not happy or content with your life. And just having someone who's genuinely grateful is not very common. So I think it's a very important thing that we should all be striving for.
Yep, and I agree. And that's why we're sharing this. That's why we're giving this episode to you guys. So in this episode, really exciting, we're going to be sharing 10 different ways to practice gratitude. And then we will follow that up with 5 things that we are thankful for. We're going to be using this as just a sounding board for the things that Miranda and I are joyous about and just excited to share with you. But we did just want to first share 10 different ways that we think you can practice gratitude and you can implement during the holiday season. And I will let Miranda share number 1.
Yes, so number 1 is to smile. And I know you probably hear this a lot, that it's that fake it till you make it mentality. If you are feeling really negative inside or you're feeling upset, they say just smile and your body will automatically just change and feel better. And it's something that's definitely hard to do if you're in a bad mood, to, buck up and smile and be positive. But it's something that makes such a huge difference. If you just think about walking by somebody on the street. If you walk by them and they have their face down and they just look downcast and sad, versus walking by somebody who has a big smile on their face, it's just amazing how much joy can be transferred just by that smile.
It's infectious.
Yeah, you see someone just like on the street laughing or just walking by with a big smile on their face. It just makes you happy too. You just feel a little bump up in your mood just by seeing someone smile.
And we know in some ways it sounds stupid to say, just smile and you'll be okay. And that's really not what we're saying. We're saying to smile just to be thankful. We all have something to be thankful for, even in the hardest of times. So just smile and give back to others. And it's showing gratitude for your situation and what you have. But you're also helping others and impacting others by smiling as well. And just try it. If you're in a bad mood or feeling sad while you're listening to this, just put a smile on your face. And you'll be amazed at what differences you'll start feeling. I know it sounds dumb. I know. I always thought this. It sounds so silly, but it works. It's not crazy. It actually does work.
Yeah, it does sound very cliche. But like you said, it's not even just for you. If you walk down the street and you just give someone a big old smile, like they're probably going to smile back. They can't help it. It's just that's how humans work, and it's so cool that it's something that's totally free, so easy. Everybody's got a beautiful smile. Everyone looks way better when they're smiling. Just think about that.
Yeah, and our whole mission should be to be spreading joy and positivity and just to be happy. And we can do that for free, like Miranda said, and just be, so well off for doing that ourselves and others as well.
Awesome. So number 2 on the ways to practice gratitude
is to be mindful of watching negative content online or on TV. Now, we share this knowing in reality that it's so hard to avoid this. I've talked about it actually, just in a recent men's group I was in. We talked about how hard it is to avoid this stuff. All the stuff we see on TV, we get thrown ads all the time. And not all of these are negative, and not all of them are bad. But in the grand scheme of things, I think ads and TV and stuff is generally can be geared more toward the negative, and that's where we just have to be mindful of what we're watching, and then also what's coming up as far as ads and what we're listening to. And if that's something that is really affecting us and is really getting us down and preventing us from being happy and feeling that gratitude, for what we have and gratitude towards others, it's just something we need to be mindful of. And again, we've talked about this again and again. We need to be mindful of our decisions. There are things, like I was saying, as far as listening to ads and certain things we see on TV that are not going to be within our control. We can't control everything, but there are a lot of things that we can. And I think it's important to be mindful of those things. And if we're choosing to watch a show, for instance, Game of Thrones, then we're choosing to see some of the things on that show. And I think it's just important to remember that it's not all out there in a way that's just affecting us and we don't have any control over it. Just be mindful of your decisions and what you're watching.
Yeah, because we watched the first few seasons of Game of Thrones, but it became something that I couldn't even watch anymore. It just became too much for me, and I have a really weak stomach when it comes to anything gory or scary or thriller-like or anything in that whole realm. So the same thing happened to me with The Walking Dead. Like, I just couldn't watch it anymore. It just gave me nightmares.
Yeah, and I used to be someone that could, but I mean, honestly, it's because I was desensitized to that stuff. And I think a lot of us out there are desensitized to that in a way that's not really that good for us. And again, we're not trying to put anyone down for watching those shows, not even saying watching those shows is bad in any way, because I don't want to get into that. But we're just saying just to be mindful and, the things we watch and even the things we read as far as on the news and stuff, it can really affect our minds and our ability to be grateful and think about these things in a positive and good way. There's just so much that we can be affected by, and we just need to be careful. Yeah,
and this is something I struggle with because I always think it's important to kind of have an idea what's going on in the news, but then, you look through your news feed on your phone and it's all just awful, terrible things, and you just feel like you look at that first thing in the morning and you just feel depressed and just like there's so much evil in the world, and it can really bog you down. So it's definitely something you have to be careful with. You have to find where your limit is and how much you can handle, and it's hard to be grateful if you feel the weight of the world's problems on your shoulders right off the bat in the morning.
Yep. All right, we will jump over to number 3. I really love this one because it's a really practical way that you can show gratitude during the holiday season right away. Take it away, Miranda. Love this one.
Paying it forward.
Ba-boom.
Ba-boom. So there's so many ways you can do this. One of our personal favorites is to buy somebody's coffee or buy their donut or, pay for somebody else's meal at a restaurant.
And let me add there real quick, just a little story. You're not guaranteed a positive result if you do this for someone. There are times when someone might look at you like you're crazy, even if they accept that you're going to buy them a drink. I had this lady once that I bought her a drink. I'm like, yeah, I got it. And she was like, oh, that's so nice. And I'm like, yeah, I'll buy your food too. And she was like, okay. And then I got her the drink, but then she ended up staying at the counter and bought food. And that was just really weird. She didn't even really thank me, which is fine. I didn't do that to expect a thank you. It just was weird. So it's not always going to be a positive result, but it can make for a funny story, and you're still blessing someone and making their day. But didn't want to interrupt you, Miranda. I just thought of that just now, and it was a funny thing.
Yeah, it's definitely, you don't know how people are going to respond because it is a weird thing, and it's almost more uncomfortable to do it just because.
Yeah, some people would just rather just pay for their own coffee and deal with that awkwardness, which I understand.
You think, why is this person doing this? And, people sometimes can just have a negative view of life, and they're like, well, why are you doing this? So it's definitely something where you never know what the response is going to be, but it is cool when you do it and then people respond very positively and they pay for somebody else's coffee, and it's just cool to see how the ripple effect and how it can really make somebody's day, because that can really, someone can be having a lousy day and then you get a free coffee and life's good again,
Yep. I just think it's important to go into that not expecting that what you're going to do is going to change the world in that way. It's still a positive thing to do. It's still something to try. We're not always guaranteed perfect results every time we do something nice for someone. If we hold the door for someone, there's no guarantee that person's going to say thank you or even appreciate it at all. And like we were just talking about, sometimes they might just look at you and be like, why did you do that? I could have gotten that myself. And it's important not to let those people get us down. Just continue to smile at them and just continue to try to spread gratitude in that way. And just some people are going to be resilient to it. And there's nothing we can do about that.
Yeah, you really can't control other people. All you can do is try to be kind and pay it forward whenever you can. Whenever you see an opportunity, just go for it. Why not? Coffees, if you're at Starbucks, it's $5, but other places more like $2 or $3. So it's not a huge financial burden, but it's something that can really change somebody else's day, and it makes you feel good. It really does. It makes you grateful for what you have when you pay it forward and give it to somebody else.
Yep. And then number 4, during the holiday season, important to remember to show gratitude towards our family. That can be hard for some of us out there to, and sometimes some of our families bring out the best in us and also the worst. We just become different people when we're with them. So it's just important to remember to give back to your family and just to show gratitude toward them just for being there for you.
Yeah, and you can give to your family, friends, coworkers, complete strangers. It's good just to think, who's one person that I can bless today? Who's somebody that I can help out? And just to have that in the back of your mind so you're ready in case an opportunity does present itself.
Yep.
So number 5 on ways to practice gratitude is to volunteer. And there's so many different places you can volunteer. It's crazy. I get overwhelmed sometimes if I want to help and then there's just too many options. I'm indecisive, so that can be a challenge for me. But there are just so many opportunities. I know in our church alone, there are just numerous ways we can volunteer and help out. And if you don't want to dedicate, a day every week, you can do things just for, a special day, feed the hungry for a day, or help with Operation Christmas Child. There's just so many opportunities that you can help with. And when you're helping others, you just naturally feel good.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I think it's important to remember, too, that volunteering is about volunteering our time. And I think I can kind of get in the mode where I think giving back really just means giving money to people. But it can also mean giving of our time as well. That's really important to remember. And that's what volunteering is about. It's giving up our time that we would have used and spent elsewhere just to give back and to help other people that might need it.
Yeah. So, Jordan, what is number 6?
Number 6 is compliment family members instead of trying to bug them or get even. I think that can, another thing, and we're talking about family because during the Thanksgiving and the holiday season, we're going to be spending time with our families, and we may not have spent a lot of time with them otherwise. So it's important to just remember that paying it back and showing gratitude means doing that for your family as well. And I think it can be fun. Sibling rivalries can be fun. Might want to bug them, or we might want to do funny things to get even with them. And all that is fun, or can be fun for some people. But just compliment them as well. Don't think just because of your family, they don't want to hear those certain things. Just be like, hey, you look great in that vest, Jordan. My family could tell me that.
That would be nice.
That would be really nice. No, they wouldn't tell me that. That was just an example. But yeah, just think about, letting your family members know that you love them, and just be there for them, and just compliment just one thing about them. That's just an easy way to show gratitude towards your family.
Yeah, it's easy, but it's so nice, and can really help make people's day, which is awesome.
Yep.
So number 7 is meditation, prayer, and focusing your thoughts on others. So it's hard to believe, but the world doesn't revolve around you or me or anyone in particular, even though it feels like that way sometimes. But
yeah, it's really not about us in the end. I think it's important to remember that, and we can all be so selfish. That, of course, includes me as well. So
yeah, everybody struggles with it. Something happens to you and you just feel like, why is this happening to me? This isn't fair. Why isn't this fair? And it's really important to just zoom out and realize how big this world is, how many people there are, and how small my problems are compared to others. And if you are volunteering and are doing things to help others, you are just really helping yourself and putting yourself in a good position to have gratitude, because you realize how much you really do have. And it's definitely something that with meditation too, and prayer, and just really not just focusing 100% on yourself, is something that can just pay off in dividends.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think it's just that having that outward focus instead of just being completely inward and thinking about yourself.
Yeah.
Make all the difference. Number 8, this is a huge one. This is a huge one, but it's also a super easy one too. Give your parents a call or call your grandparents. I think for most of us out there, we know that can make a huge difference in their day. My mom always loves hearing from me. And of course, my grandma does as well. And how do I know that my grandma loves it when I call her? I hear about it from the rest of my family. And it's just super cool because it definitely just, it makes their day. They just want to hear from you. They may not be in a position where they want to call you and because they feel like they're bugging you. This is for you, Mom. I've told you several times that you can call me whenever you want. Actually, you were good. You did call me the other day. So
she did.
She did call me.
Yeah,
I think it's because I finally was telling her enough that, you can call me too. It doesn't just need to be me to call you, but
yeah, people don't want to bug you, and it's hard to know everybody's schedule. So,
and I'm terrible too. I'll just add, I don't answer the phone a lot. So the reason my mom wasn't calling me is mostly it's my fault. It's not her fault. But I was letting her know that I'm getting better at answering the phone when it rings.
Yeah, and just connecting with people is really important. And if it's an old friend, even someone you haven't talked to in a while, just give them a call. And it always feels weird if you haven't talked to someone in a year or two, but just give them a call. I'm sure, if they're around, they're happy to hear from you. So don't let that stop you. Definitely, keep in touch with people, those people you've known your whole life, and grandparents, friends, whoever it is, anyone that you have a relationship with. Just try to keep that relationship up. Call them. Write a letter if you're that old school. Not many people do that, but yeah, that's definitely a really good way to practice gratitude. And number 9 is to start a gratitude journal. And this is something that a lot of people talk about too. And it is a really awesome way to have gratitude because you're forcing yourself to think about what you're thankful for. And when you write it down and you see it all written out, you can really see how good you have it and how thankful you should be.
Yeah, I think that's something we should start thinking about doing more of, Miranda, instead of just, writing in our journals once in a while about those things. We should start to keep like a daily gratitude. It doesn't have to be like a full-on journal. I think some of the most effective journaling can just be bullet points, and I'm grateful for, or I am thankful for, the following things. And even if you write the same things down over and over, I'm thankful for Miranda, and I would probably write that in every one. It's just because I am very thankful for her, and I appreciate the fact that she's in my life and our marriage and all of those things. I think it's important just to be, making sure that we are constantly remembering those things. I think, especially for a more anxious and anxiety-driven person like myself, it can be easy to focus on the negative things. It can be easy to disasterize things and look toward the future. And, also I've wondered if disasterize is a word or not. I think it is, but I'm not sure about it. I used it today.
I don't know.
I've used it several times today already,
yeah.
So might have to look the one up. But let me know if you're listening to this. Anyway, yeah, there's a little bit of ADD there, but what was I going with that? Just to be important to be showing gratitude even for the things that you may take for granted, like a really positive marriage or a good relationship, or just the fact that you have just a nice apartment or a nice place to live. I think it's easy to take those things for granted and not be grateful for them. But I mean, especially here in America, we have so many good things that we need to be thankful for that most people in the world don't even understand at all, because they're so worried about just basic survival. And we have all of those needs met. We can be worried about financial things and all of those things. But at the end of the day, we always have a place to stay. We always have family members and friends who can take care of us and help us out. And that's not something everyone has. And that's something we need to be grateful for.
Yeah, and having a journal with it is helpful too, because you can always look back. If you're having a particularly sad day, you can open up your gratitude journal and remind yourself of all the things you do have and just put yourself in that positive mindset.
Yep, and last but not least, in ways to practice gratitude is based on social media. So Facebook, let's share funny memes or positive quotes or stories instead of just talking about negative political thoughts. I think that's important. I was at a point where I was posting something political that was, I would look at and say that was kind of negative, and I posted it for about 5 seconds and then deleted it. And then I sent it to my dad instead, and he was able to take a lot of my venting from that and talk to me about it. But I just think it's important not to be throwing a lot of those things on social media. I mean, being negative and showing and giving those political insights may not be the smartest thing to do with our social media platforms. And it can just be really beneficial for us to be positive, maybe to share some positive motivational quotes or just some funny memes, just to give someone, just to lift them up and give them a smile. I think laughter and all of those kind of joke kind of things can be underestimated, especially in more, I don't know, I was going to say advanced, but not really advanced, but, people that we're trying to be more mature. We're trying to be, helpful to people and positive, but it's amazing how just a simple meme or something funny can really change someone's day. And I think that's important to remember. Overestimate the power of that, how much difference that can make in someone's day, because there's so much junk on social media. And if we can just share, something funny that, may even be considered junk, but just to throw it in there, just to brighten someone's day, I think that is a fantastic way to spread gratitude and also to practice gratitude.
Yeah, there's a lot of negative things out there in the social media world, and it's just good if you are a light in that area and you can just send positive messages to people who are, in that realm and looking on Facebook, and to just have something that's not completely negative barraging their screen all day. So I think that's definitely an important one.
Yeah, you can just throw a meme on there of a dog licking an ice cream cone and saying something stupid.
Yeah, I know. I was having a really bad day, and I just ended up watching The Office bloopers on YouTube, and it really helped.
Yeah, I think it's so important to make sure we're, delving into the spiritual and really getting our minds right and ourselves right in all of those aspects. But at the same time, we just need to remember the importance of laughter and all those things as well. I think that's something that's just underestimated. I think I said overestimated earlier, but hopefully you'll be able to know what I meant by what I said.
Yeah.
Take the context, please.
Laughter is a beautiful thing, and it's like a smile. It's contagious. Some people have like especially contagious laughters, which are just, they're fun people to be around.
We all know that one person that just has this laugh that you're like, I love that person's laugh. Hang around that person, make that person laugh, and just they'll make your day.
Exactly. So those were the top 10 ways to practice gratitude. Now we are going to be...
Yeah, those were the top 10. We had a list of about 155, but we cut it down to 10
we
just for
narrowed
you.
It down. Yeah, because that was going to be a really long episode.
We figured you'd want a little bit of a shorter episode on Thanksgiving so you can get back to eating that turkey.
You can make those leftover turkey sandwiches.
Or the leftover turkey meatballs.
That too. So what are we grateful for? Right now, we have a lot that Jordan and I are very thankful for since we recently went through a period of change. And we just, right now, we feel like we're just in a time of just blessing, and we feel just truly grateful for everything that we have. So did you want to start us off?
I will start us off. Yeah, we are very thankful that at the end of the day, we can place our trust in Jesus and that we we profess ourselves to be Christians, and we just feel that that's so important. We didn't design this podcast to be particularly spiritual or anything like that. We definitely want to talk about those things, but it's just so important to both Miranda and I, and that's something that we just wanted to share with you, that we have that hope that no matter what happens on this earth, that we have eternal life in Him. And I'm not a pastor by any means. I'm not someone that's going to quote Bible verses and be doing that stuff. It's just something I feel in my heart, and that I know Miranda does as well. And she can even talk a little bit about that, but it's just something to think about. I mean, we gotta, I think it's important for us to at least have an idea and not be ignorant of where we think, we're going after this life. Or even if we believe there's an afterlife. I think we need to, again, what we talked about before, we need to be making the decisions for ourselves. Even if we decide that we don't know, and that's fine. There's a lot of things I don't know. But make it a decision that you don't know, and then take the next step to learn more and to not remain ignorant. Remaining in the realm of ignorance is not an option. And I think we always need to be making a choice about which direction we're going in. So just be thinking about that. Be thinking about yourself spiritually and your journey with that. Is that something that you want to just leave up to chance? I don't think you should. It's up to you to really delve into that and ask questions and talk to people. I'd be glad to talk with you. Like I said before, we don't have all the answers, and we don't know, but it's something to be thinking about. It's just important. And I don't think any of that was eloquent, but that's okay, because I'm sharing my heart and I'm sharing what I think.
Yeah. And there are certain things that, as humans, we're just not going to understand. And we were talking about this today, how you can kind of just talk yourself in circles with certain...
We were talking in circles.
Yeah, certain theological debates. You can just, get yourself all turned around. But, I mean, the base of it is, God loves us, and that's just a beautiful thing. And that's, we should be so grateful for that we have this, this beautiful earth and all these people. And there's just so much that we have to be thankful for. And it just, it all boils down to that in the end.
Yeah, I mean, I think in some ways it's not to oversimplify Christianity at all. That's not what we're trying to do, but it's the fact that God loves us, and He sent His Son Jesus to die for us because we are sinful. I don't think anyone could look at the human race and say that we are good in any way. Of course, we have good qualities, but at the end of the day, we all make mistakes and we all fall short. And I don't think if anyone out there wants to argue that point, you're going to lose every time, because we are not innately good. We're selfish, like we were talking about. We're selfish. It's difficult to show gratitude in some ways, and of course there are people out there that are better than others, but it's just the way that makes sense, and I think it's important to be delving into that, and like I said, at least asking yourself that question.
Exactly. And number 2 that we're very thankful for is, like I said, our transition from our jobs at the retirement home, and how we have semi landed on our feet here in Huntersville. We're so grateful for our apartment, for my job. I only had a few weeks in between jobs, which was good because I didn't have anything lined up when I left. And Jordan's online work has been going really well, and just
the freelance opportunities that kind of showed up for us last minute that have really been what's been holding us over.
Yeah, and we are just so thankful for the apartment we have and for this area, and we just feel like we're in the right place at the right time, and it's a great feeling.
Yeah, we love like every room in our apartment. Our bedroom's cool because we have no lights in there. You can't even get dressed in there in the morning because you can't see.
Well, I mean, we can now, daylight savings.
That's true.
So.
Oh, that daylight savings time. You're the man.
Yeah.
But we're just so thankful for like my office and the fact that the bathroom has a dual vanity and like all this stuff. And it's nothing crazy, but it's just, we're so grateful for those things. And and because this is the first apartment that Miranda and I actually got to pick together. We didn't pick our first apartment until we had been married for 5 years, which is kind of interesting how that just kind of happened and worked out. But we picked the right one and we love it. So we're so thankful.
Yes. Number 3.
We are thankful for each other. And I already talked a little bit about that. So if you can tell them why you're so thankful for me, why I'm awesome, why you love me, all those things, just take the next like 20 to 30 minutes and just go for it.
Yeah, I could probably do it in like 5, but
5 seconds? Wow.
Minutes, of course.
Cool, Ren.
Yeah, we are very thankful for each other, for our marriage. We are so happy with each other, and just we love being married, and there's a lot of negativity surrounding the institution of marriage nowadays, but honestly,
it's false. Don't believe it.
It's a beautiful thing, and we absolutely love having each other's back and being able to support each other, and just when we're not being selfish, put the other one first. And it's been really awesome. We've been married for a little over 5 years now, and it just gets better. So I'm always thankful for Jordan and for our marriage, for the fact that we were able to both be on the same page when we moved from Pennsylvania, to be able to be on the same page when we left our last job. It's just been awesome. So we're always thankful for that.
Oh yeah, we're thankful. Thankful for God bringing us together, because we truly believe that. And then we have put in a lot of work and a lot of prayer in the meantime to get to where we are. So definitely thankful for where we've come from, and then thankful for how we're learning and how we're growing right now.
Yeah.
Number 4, Miranda, or as I like to call you, Mithrandir.
Number 4 is the Life Fellowship is the church we've been going to, and we are very thankful for the people we've met there. We're part of a life group there.
Big shout out to those guys. We love you guys. If you're listening to this, wow, you guys are amazing. You have made all the difference in our lives and our transition. Just absolutely thankful and blown away.
Yeah, the church has been awesome, and the people have been awesome, and we just have we've started relationships that I think we're definitely going to keep growing, and it's just very cool to have a home church when we were moving around a lot before. So this is a stage of growing roots and really just focusing on the area that we're actually living in, and not, bouncing around traveling every weekend. So it's been really cool.
Yeah, for sure.
And last but not least, Jordan?
Last but not least, we are thankful for the little things in life. I think that's so important, because I think we can be kind of, and we're saying this because this is something we need to even do better at, but we are so thankful for, chocolate chip blueberry pancakes, going out to breakfast, the small things we shared in our apartment that we just really like. We like the fact that we have a dishwasher. We like the fact that we have an ice maker in our freezer. All these things we didn't have in some of our older apartments, and just simple, stupid things like that we just... Me and Miranda we're so good about this, because I just said we weren't good, but a lot of things related to this that we do find that we are good at, just because we appreciate those things. We appreciate not being super freezing cold in the winter, dually because we're in North Carolina and the winters are much better, but also because we actually have heat now. As we shared before, we didn't really have heat in our apartment in Pennsylvania, which was silly, but just being thankful for that. And then Anything else, Miranda? Any other small little things that we're thankful for?
Yeah, I mean, I read a book before called Unleash Joy, which Jordan read too, and it also said...
That was one of my author buddies, Janine Brown. So if you want to look up that book, Unleash Joy, very, very good. Really enjoyed that book.
Very practical stuff. And I just liked what she said about nature and about just enjoying, like right now, it's just beautiful outside. All the leaves are changing color. And just, picking up a leaf that's just bright red and just appreciating it. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. And she said, too, just like touching the bark on a tree. As children, we are just drawn to those things. And it's so amazing to us as children. And somehow, as we grow older, we lose that spark of just the natural amazement of what's just right around us and the little things. So definitely stuff like that. Just appreciate it. Take a moment and smell the roses, if you will. Just look at how beautiful it is outside and enjoy the fresh air, the crisp fall air, and the crunch of the leaves and kicking an acorn. It's just those little things you really can bring a lot of joy.
Yeah, because that's what we live for, right, guys? If we're not having joy and not appreciating those moments, then what are we living for? And that's just a question that we need to be asking ourselves, and we just need to start enjoying those little things more and start really, like I said, just thinking about that and being intentional and being purposeful to get out there and then do those type of things.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. Well, we thank you guys for listening to this Thanksgiving 2017 episode of Freedom Cast. I'm not going to ask you to leave a review on iTunes, but I would love it if you did. I'm going to ask you to comment with something cool. You can even share a cool tradition you do over Thanksgiving, or just share something you are grateful for this holiday season. If you're listening on my website, it's very easy to leave a comment. You just scroll down with your little mouse wheel, go down to the end of this post and leave a comment, and I'll be there to respond. But just let us know what you're thinking and what this episode did for you. And again, just thank you for listening. Have a happy holiday season, friends, and stay weird,
friends.